this is Theranak with another episode thoughts for Sailor Moon Crystal, this time for episode 23. And with this episode, we have the full debut of Black Lady, which is pretty much Chibiusa's adult kind of evil form. And we also have like a few scenes kind of switched or kind of changed up a little bit from the manga with this episode, so it's not like the almost like direct adaptation the previous episode was. This time round, probably the biggest is with all the Sailor Guardians and Sailor Moon when they're talk about finding Tuxedo Mask and Chibiusa, who are of course lost in, that time dimension, I guess. I forget what it's actually called, but with that, where you have Usagi kind of going over, what kind of person Mamoru is and everything. In the manga, it's actually kind of Rei and Makoto that kind of actually do a good portion of that, and say those things about him, with Usagi at the end bringing up that even of course she realizes this is the kind of person he is. But of course in this episode instead we just have Usagi kind of explaining this to Pluto, to why she believes that they'll be able to, or he's definitely with Chibiusa. But on the other hand, we do have actually all the Sailor Guardians actually having something to say during this scene, when they pretty much bring up that they're going to follow Usagi wherever she goes when she goes searching for them, which of course was not in the manga. And it's actually kind of a bit of a nice trade-off, because it means like all four of them have something to say in that scene, unlike in the manga where, like I mentioned, it's just pretty much Rei and Makoto talking there. Other than that, when they get back, or I guess to the present, with those scenes in the manga, we see both Usagi's mother and her brother Shingo. In the anime, there's no Shingo, but Usagi's mother actually has a bigger role to play, with the fact that she's there when Usagi wakes up at first, which she isn't in the original manga. So that's a little change up there with that. And I think the other kind of change that I noticed was that with King, the future king, and Diana, when they're having, or Diana's talking to him and kind of giving him a little pep talk. She brings up that Pluto's worried about him in the manga, but not in the anime. That just gets dropped. So those are those were the three big changes that I noticed. Oh no, there was a fourth, and that is with the Black Moon, as Rubius actually gets brought up. In the manga, he promptly gets completely and utterly forgotten after his death. But in the anime, they actually have, at least Saphir kind of worried about when the world happened to him, and of course Wise Man having, or pretty much going ahead and telling him and Demando that, he killed him. And yeah, I think those were the four changes. I kind of rather liked having them actually remember Rubius existed, just because it does kind of, well, I guess for the side of, especially with the Black Moon, gives them a greater sense of, I guess, unity. The fact that, they were kind of a bit of, I guess, almost family, because from what we understand, they're pretty much the only people living on this planet. And then Wise Man came and started mucking things up. But, it's kind of nice to see that, even though, at the point we are still down to the final two members of the Black Moon clan, Saphir and Demando. And of course, like in the manga, in this episode, they need to get like brainwashed by Wise Man, because they were definitely having issues with him. Currently, with him bringing in Black Lady, and the fact that they can tell that he's definitely not what he seems to be. But unfortunately, he has enough power to kind of make them forget that, in which he does. But we also learned that the silver crystal, or the version of it that Chibiusa has, seems to be an incomplete version, as Wise Man isn't able to use it. But then again, neither is Black Lady or pretty much anyone else, and they kind of figure out that it has to be connected to Neo Queen Serenity. And that's pretty much now like the villain's plan, is to somehow get to the Queen, and thus, get to the power of the Silver Crystal and what it holds, which has Black Lady showing up at the palace. And as she does so, Sailor Moon and the Sailor Guardians end up showing up, as they end up getting summoned back to the future by Pluto, to kind of deal with the fact that, the Black Moon have attacked again. So, yeah, at this point we're all kind of moving towards the end, which you can kind of tell because, the villain side is starting to look a little sparse in general. Though, yeah, we still have a few more episodes. And I don't know what else to say about this episode. I mean, kind of gone over the changes. It's kind of still very much like the manga. I do like the fact that, we do get that little reprieve with going back to like the present, and get a really kind of nice scene of just Usagi and the rest kind of bonding, and actually really get to see a lot more of Usagi, and the fact that she really does care a lot for Chibiusa, as she ends up like really missing her and kind of sharing that with her friends. So that's kind of really nice to see that bond. And I don't know, I was kind of iffy with the fact that those lines kind of all went to Usagi when kind of talking about Mamoru and whether or not he's with Chibiusa. I don't think it really changes too much, but I don't know. I kind of liked how it played out in the manga, but at the same time, I can't say I don't like how it played out in Crystal either, with those change-ups. Especially since, it's not like it completely cut out the Sailor Guardians, as, like I said, they all get to actually, say something, as they or pretty much tell Pluto that no matter what, they're going to be following Sailor Moon. And so I kind of like this scene in general. It just kind of seemed like a little bit of a major change. Though in the end, it still kind of had the same meaning, where the fact that, Usagi, she really understands the kind of person Mamoru is. The fact that, no matter what, he's gonna protect Chibiusa because, she's their daughter. And, that's just kind of like the person he is. So, I think the scene in general is rather nice. Especially since, with this season, we're definitely looking at, Usagi kind of having doubts and everything with her relationship. And I think with this kind of speech, or at least this acknowledgement of, what kind of person Mamoru is, it kind of brings everything full circle for her to kind of really understand, who he is. And I guess really have all that faith in him. And I think it like totally makes sense that, now that she's come to this point, that she definitely wants to see him again, and definitely can feel that frustration and the fact that she hasn't really been able to do so. So I definitely like, that part of the story, the fact that we are seeing Usagi who's really kind of growing as a character, even though I have a lot of like love for the original anime series. One of the issues I always had with it was the fact that they always seem to like reset her character pretty much every season, and she never really changed. Well, of course, in the manga, she definitely did, and of course, with Crystal being such a close adaptation to it, we're finally getting to see that kind of growth, I guess, in animated form this time around. Not only with, Usagi kind of, I guess, kind of getting over any doubts she has with her relationship with Mamoru, but also, the kind of care she's come to have for Chibiusa. So it's really nice, like, again, to just kind of see that growth, but also really love the fact that we get to have a moment in this episode where we just get to see, Usagi with her friends, and it's not like Sailor Moon and Sailor Guardians. It is just, the girls kind of being girls for a little bit, despite, having this, pretty much have the world and its fate on their shoulders. It's still a nice little break, especially since we go right back to that so shortly after. And I think with that, I'm basically done. So thank you for watching. I hope you subscribe to my channel, leave a like or comment. Until next time, bye!